I know, but it's stressful. Hey, everybody on Facebook, we're here. It's not Monday night. It's Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday.
So we did all of our Monday night. We did all of our Tuesday stuff last night. Like we went to Texas Roadhouse last night. So everybody knows.
Wait, you go to Texas Roadhouse every Tuesday? Oh, my.
Jake's our waiter.
You are such a creature of habit. Holy cow. Oh, my
Wow.
So he blew our mind. Okay, so I always just real quick, we're going to start the show in just 1 second because we got to hustle. So he blew our mind because I always get my chicken critters with barbecue sauce.
Right, because why would you not get steak at a steakhouse? But that's fine. Beside the point.
Like, the chicken critters really good. So I get chicken critters with honey mustard and barbecue sauce, right? Okay,
Right.
that's like my thing. He's like, oh, blow your mind. He's like, get your chicken critters dipped in barbecue sauce and then get honey mustard and dip those in honey mustard. He's like, it's amazing. I was like, okay, well, doesn't sound really good, but I'll try it. Oh man, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Critters, like what's it called, like basted or like where they come out with the barbecue sauce all on.
Right. Yeah.
And dip them in honey mustard.
Okay.
Boom.
Good for you, Mike.
And if you go before 6, it's super cheap, like the old people.
Oh gosh.
You can't eat at 8 o'clock like you. It costs extra.
It's like $10.
You millennials that eat late.
$10 for the steak I get. $10. I think I can afford that.
I think it's $8.99 if you go before.
That's okay. I'll spend the extra $2.
You don't have a family of 4. You don't have a family of 4.
It still would spend the extra $2. It's
okay. I'm saying, but I mean, I'm hungry. I get up at 4:45. I'm hungry by 4. I'm starving. I'm dying right now. Let's go. And hello to Donna in her car. Your mom is in her car. Remember, 10 and 2.
Yes.
Especially if you're going down Hutter Shell this time of day.
Yeah.
Happy not Monday, Tim. That's exactly right. Happy Tuesday. All right, let's get cracking. Time for questions. We may have a question or two about August 29th. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to make a separate folder.
What is happening August 29th? I actually have no idea.
It's a new holiday. That's the way I look at it. From now on, from 2019 on, August 29th will be a holiday like May the 4th.
Got it.
Some random day in August, at the end of August, where nothing's happening.
Nothing.
Baseball teams usually eliminated from the playoffs.
Got it.
And now it's a historic day. Hey, Michelle, we got lots of folks tuned in over in England, and Jennifer's in Rome. I don't know if that's Rome or Rome, Georgia, or Rome would be better. Rome, Italy, I guess I should say. All right, Rome, if you want to, the B-52s.
Wow, that's an oldie.
That is a good song. I follow this Twitter account that it's all 80s, and they do 80s birthdays every morning, like right as I'm finishing my run, and I look, and it's like when I see the ages of these people that were like in their 30s, and now they're like 78. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
I'm like, no way. Yeah, but that lady her birthday was yesterday, I think. Anyway, the B-52s lady. I don't even know her name is, but it said
there were 2 of them. Was it the redhead? The
the redhead, I guess.
Not the one with the big beehive thing.
Right.
Yeah. And real Rome. That's right. Rome.
That's cool.
Wow.
Right there,
I can't pronounce the name of the city where Disney Cruise Line ship is going out of it. Calcavecchia.
Vecchia. I think you might be right.
It's a long one. It sounds like
yeah.
Last name.
Civitavecchia.
I'm always like, when I call it Disney Cruise Line, like, Rome.
You can say the gateway to Rome.
Yeah, they're always like, oh, Mike, it's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm in Missouri. I can't say that, but Rome. Anyway. All right, here we go. We don't want anybody. Don't be gutted. Be happy because it happened. They're not going to take it away. It's going to be there forever for my Sandlot friends. Forever. Okay, here we go.
Or you can change a flight.
All right, yeah, we're going to change the flight. All right, let's do this. 1458. Welcome to episode 1458 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great and busy agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks to everybody who is joining us here on Facebook Live. We appreciate you hopping in on a Tuesday evening instead of a Monday night. We had to delay the podcast because 2 of the 3 we're traveling back from Walt Disney World, which we'll hear about that stuff on Friday. But of course, it's time for your listener questions as we do every Wednesday. So joining me today to knock out these questions, we have Ricky from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and the Mouse for Less. Ricky, what is going on?
Oh, Disney just decided to announce a whole bunch of stuff.
Have mercy. As they say on Full House, and for those people that are not in jail right now, have mercy. man. That's what I said. I'm like, come on, could Cruise Line not talk to the people at Star Wars? I mean, this is like a busy week. Like we're going to have a couple down weeks coming up here.
I know.
But
Yes.
no, they don't care. They just
No.
like to drop everything on us at once.
Right. Exactly. This is exactly what happens.
But it was fun. You know what? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's what I always have to tell myself, right? That's
That
it.
is true. Yes.
All right. Also joining us, we have the coder of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, was the force with you last week?
It was. It definitely was. Did you see that macked out photo we had on the Magic for Less Travel's Facebook page? It said, "Book with us. We use the Force."
Yeah, so sweet. I didn't know Darth Vader was an affiliate agent with the Magic for Less. Like,
Well, we tried to keep that on the DL.
it must have been a tough negotiation because at any time you could have been force choked.
Well, and the other thing is too that some people really like him and some people don't. So like we don't let him go out there and say it all the time because we knew we'd be alienating like half the people, right? So we consider it like the talk about politics. We just hope that our agents don't engage in it, right? We're like, no, let's not talk about that and the fact that Darth works with us. He's in a position that where he's not really out there like consumer facing. He's sort of behind the scenes.
Probably smart for him to be behind the scenes. Yeah.
Best way to be. I think that marketing research has shown that we're pretty strong with the resistance forces. Now we have to go after the empire. So.
Well, we have somebody else in the back too. We have somebody else.
Stormtroopers have to take vacations too.
We have to restore balance. We're working on a balanced travel agency. So.
That's right.
All right, let's get these questions. First question says, help last minute #freaking magical surprise. Hey, BOGP crew. And again, if you use freaking magical in the title, you get bumped to the top most of the time. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It says, can you please not say my name if this makes the show? Because I want to keep this short trip a surprise. Okay, enough said, no names. I started listening to the show last year when I began my obsession with all things Disney. I love how your show gives my daughter and I something to listen to and a way to connect to one of our favorite places in between visits. Thanks for all your hard work. We appreciate it. My question has to do with the last minute trip to Walt Disney World the first week of April. We're going to spend some time in St. Augustine and Disney. I know it's a super busy time, but I can deal with whatever. And my 7-year-old is so easygoing and knows a crowded day at Magic Kingdom is way better than no day there at all. My husband isn't quite on the Disney train like my daughter and I, so I like to make the most of the magic for the few days we are squeezing in. We'll be there for 2.5 days, and one of those days there is an after-hours event at the Magic Kingdom. Do you think it's worth it to attend that event instead of a full day at the Magic Kingdom, and then on Friday hit Hollywood Studios and Epcot? We are ambitious and have done all 4 parks in one day before. I was thinking we could just chill and hang out at the pool before the Magic Kingdom event. I'm not sure if this affects your advice, but my daughter may be getting an annual pass while we're there because we're lucky enough to have grandparents that live in Orlando. Thanks for the advice. Love the show and have a #freaking magical day. All right, mystery listener. And I better delete this before I accidentally say the name because
Yeah. Knowing you. Yeah.
I'm so good at that, so that will be gone forever. All right. So Pam, what are your thoughts on sacrificing the day to have an extra after hours event at night? How do you weigh that on the scales of justice there?
So if I'm a fairly frequent visitor or frequent enough that I don't feel compelled to every trip, check off a bunch of boxes, right? But that often enough, that I know the Magic Kingdom, I'm not whatever, I'm actually going to do the after hours event because I feel like you sort of get more bang for your buck in that short period of time. I've been to the Magic Kingdom. I don't have to see every little bit, you know what I mean? But I'm going to be able to get a lot of attractions done in a short period of time. Plus, it's almost like a party atmosphere during that time. I think it's a fun time to visit. You get to go at my favorite time to visit the Magic Kingdom, which is at night. And you get to get in, before the park is closed too. So you still get some, time in the park. You can see the fireworks really the sort of at the start of your visiting time in the Magic Kingdom. So I think I would go ahead and lean towards that.
And I'll say that, again, I haven't done after hours yet, but here's the thing. I have a lot of guests to do it, and I get a lot of questions before the trips, asking for advice from me. Should I do this? The same situation. Should I not go during the day, maybe save a day off my ticket, or, I have limited amount of time? Should I just do after hours? here's the funny thing. And Scott did this too when he went down, when we were down for Princess. Every person that goes to an after hours event, I'm talking 100% of the people I've talked to. Now I don't have to talk to every person who's gone in and out of the gates, but the people in my circle, every person wants to run to me and say, dude, that was so awesome. I mean, now Scott tried to eat his weight in Mickey
Right,
bars
as one does.
get his
Yes.
money back, but he said it was amazing. And every person I've talked to say the same thing. So Ricky, I would say do after hours, because the thing is, if you go a lot, this is like a special thing. It's different. It's a new experience.
Absolutely. And I've looked into ways to make after hours happen for myself, and just different things. The timing hasn't been right, but everybody I've heard that's gone to it has raved about it, whether it's at, Magic Kingdom, which I think is where you get the best bang for your buck for it, or at Hollywood Studios, or, even in Animal Kingdom, although I have heard a little bit more, not negative, but some more criticism, I guess I should say, about the Animal Kingdom one, just because, really all that's there for people to ride is like Everest and the Pandora attractions, which, that's great and all, but I think people are running out of things to do there at that one. So at least the Hollywood Studios one, and definitely the Magic Kingdom one, there's a lot of attractions for you to be able to do. So I say absolutely you should consider doing it. I think, being able to just walk right onto attractions and, literally the entire queue is the only time you're going to wait, basically. And all you can eat ice cream and popcorn is I'm in for that. So
soda, I think too. Yeah. Soda can get you though, but you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next question from the inbox. Is this a crazy plan? I like that.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Two friends of mine are planning a trip to the world at the end of October 2019. They have a room at the Contemporary Bay Lake Tower with a queen bed and a sleeper sofa. Already, this is starting to sound like college. I'm seriously considering flying down on the morning of October 27th, attending the Mickey Scary Halloween party, and crashing with them in their room for the night.
Yep.
The super crazy part of my plan is I'm thinking about attempting to go to Hollywood Studios and Galaxy's Edge the next day, October 28th, and flying out that night. Is this too much for one day? Is it worth it? I know Ricky is the queen of the quick trip.
She is.
To get her advice. Thanks for everything, Sarah. Oh, I can say that. Okay, I can say the name on this one. Good.
Yeah, you can say the name on this one. You're good. You're good.
We're live. Oh, great. No, so Sarah's good. She didn't say it to keep quiet. All right. So, Ricky, this one's to you. What do you say? This is kind of nuts.
She would be flying out the same day that she would attempt to go to Galaxy's Edge, is what she's saying, right?
Right.
Get the latest flight possible. And yes, I think you should absolutely do it. But then again, you're talking to me, the person who literally just drove down and spent maybe 36 to 48 hours in Walt Disney World and then drove back 7 hours. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I would absolutely say yes. Anyway, just know, lines are going to be long. The wait times to get into, hopefully the wait times to get into Galaxy's Edge in October won't be, they'll be subsided a little bit there. You won't have to wait in as much, to get into the land. But the wait times for the attraction are going to be long. Just know that. I would definitely expect, 4 to 5 hours. Although the nice part is there is no fast pass for the Millennium Falcon attraction. As of right now, they are not going to be running the ride with fast pass. So, of course that can change in the future, but as of right now, they're not going to be doing it. The other attraction, the Rise of the Resistance attraction, won't be open, so you're really only going to be able to do Millennium Falcon, but you'll also be able to experience, hopefully, some of the shops, some of the, food and stuff like that. So I think you'll have time to at least experience the land and see what it's like, and hopefully get to ride the Millennium Falcon. And I say do it, absolutely.
So do we have any word on, because we got a couple questions from Josh and from Vanessa in the live chat about these after hours events going through the summer, like say in June, July, August. I mean, I know that Disney kind of doesn't release this stuff very early. I wish they did, because, they teach us to plan 6 months out with our dining and so forth. And I mean, you're booking out sometimes 15, 16 months in advance.
Yep.
This is going to have an impact on your itinerary. But Ricky, what's your feelings on that?
Never fear. Disney is, now that these after hours events are starting to sell out, which we've seen.
Let's do them 7 nights a week. No.
Exactly. So now that the events are starting to sell out and the popularity is clearly gaining, because I think this is probably the most asked question we have, is when are they going to release the dates? So they're definitely going to be continuing them. The thing about the after hours events is they're kind of like the dessert parties in that Disney doesn't announce the dates very far in advance. They really only announce them about 1 to 2 months in advance, which I understand is super frustrating. I get it. And like you and everybody else, I wish they would announce them ahead of time. But I think that they do it just to kind of see, what months or what days they need to have the event on and so on. So, they are going to release them for the summer and beyond. Just know it may not be up until a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months before your vacation. Don't fear, they are going to release them. Again, like I said, they're selling out now, so Disney is going to continue to offer these events. They just don't do it 6 months in advance like they do everything else.
Last year, though, they did not have them during the summer, I believe.
I believe
they didn't have them until the very end of summer. They didn't have them during the bulk of summer. So they weren't available.
They may not have them during the summer because usually they have them during the hours that the park closes early. So when the park closes at 8 or 9 o'clock, and in the summer the park's open till 9, 10, 11 or later. So you're right, Pam. They may not offer it in the summer hours, and that'll be something.
It just might not. Yeah.
Keep in mind. So, but they'll definitely offer it for the fall. Like for everybody who's trying to plan for the fall, they'll definitely offer it for that. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Its popularity is great, and Disney obviously wants that revenue source, but they have to balance that with the guest expectations of being booted out of the park early because, I think it's a bad look if you're trying to do this all the time. These add-ons, I think it's okay like a couple nights a week.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of a.
Well, and right now they are doing it only a couple nights a week.
I know, and I think that's good. Yeah. I think that's a good balance. But I think if they try to do it all the time.
And they may not offer it at the Magic Kingdom, but they may continue to offer it at, say, Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, because those parks do tend to still close a little bit earlier. So the Magic Kingdom tends to have hours until 10, 11 o'clock in the summer. But the other two parks, they do tend to close about 8, 9 o'clock even in the summer. Maybe 9:30, I think, sometimes 10, but, it really depends on the day. So I think that maybe if we see it, we'll see it for those other two parks and maybe not the Magic Kingdom.
Good point.
Again, time will tell.
They've opened up to other parks, which helps because it gives them options.
Right.
All right. So Michelle's got a question here in the live chat, and we have done this. I'm going to let Pam speak to this one. She says, has anybody experienced the Illuminations Rose and Crown? We have a book to celebrate our 25th anniversary on May 2nd. So Pam, we got to do this when we were down for the Princess Half Marathon weekend.
We did.
I really enjoyed it. So give your quick review for Michelle.
I did too. I thought it was great. First of all, one of the things I liked about it is that we knew that we were going to have a great viewing location for Illuminations. And we did. They also really did a great job with this dinner, this sort of dinner package, because it's unlike other dinner packages in that it includes a variety of items from which you can choose and some Rose and Crown favorites, including the Scotch egg and the cheese plate and fish and chips and some other entrees like that. And then you got a selection of desserts. So we love that. It also included alcoholic beverages, which it included many of the Rose and Crown mixed drinks and beers. They have so many beers available there. So consider that too. The menu is actually up online, so you can see the ones that they actually have. So make sure you check that out too. And by the way, those alcoholic drinks are unlimited. So,
Thanks.
I mean, I don't think that they would, let someone stumble out of there, having imbibed too much, but they were included. So we love that. The other great thing that they did is on the night that we were going to see it, they usually sit you in the lower level, and we got to sit up top because there was going to be a storm. So they took that into effect too.
And it was kind of ironic because we had a table of about 12 of us, I believe, and you have these options to get, they give you, pick one appetizer, pick one entree, pick one. I think the dessert was just a sampler. It was really good, though. I don't even know what it was. It was 3 things. It looked beautiful with like Spaceship Earth on one, some UK flags.
Right.
But all of us at the table, every person got fish and chips. That was so good.
I know. It was really funny. There were some other things that looked really good.
No, fish and chips.
But they're so famous for that. But anyways, when it came time for fireworks, they said to us, if you want to go ahead down onto the lower level, you can,
Nice.
to get a better view of that. But I think it was worth it. It is pricey, absolutely, but to be able to get that guaranteed view, I think, of Illuminations, especially before it goes away, I just thought it was really smart on their part, and we really enjoyed it. So.
Nice.
And I got some great pictures too during that, so it's a good spot. And again, with it going away, it's kind of an now or never kind of thing. So
Right.
do it. All right. The next question from the inbox says, it's a trap. Generational Walt Disney World August 2019 vacation. What could this be about? I don't know.
Nope.
How the inbox just blew up this week.
I bet it did. Yes.
Okay. Greetings, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I'd planned an August 21 through August 30th quiet off-season Walt Disney World vacation for my family of 4, myself, my beautiful wife, and my boys that are 10 and 13, and my parents who are treating my niece, who's 6, to her first trip to the world. We're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, coming in from Seattle. I've been listening for years, and you greatly helped me plan a wonderful 2017 hurricane vacation. Well, now, hey, we didn't cause the hurricane. We might have helped you plan a great vacation. Don't throw that hurricane on us, man. We didn't expect that.
Not causes of hurricanes, I promise.
I mean, other than we sometimes bring bad weather, but that's
that's the point. Yes.
All right. So it says, now I'm hoping you can help me navigate an accidental epic Star Wars opening.
Got it.
I'm hearing the news that Star Wars Land was opening during our trip. I quickly reserved dining at 50's Primetime Cafe lunch for all of us on opening day. Calling guest services later, we were told that it would be tough even getting into the park, but those guests with dining reservations would be given priority access to the park. We were also informed that Disney decided not to issue fast passes for Galaxy's Edge, that the resorts had nearly been booked over this time period, and reservations for dining at Hollywood Studios were likely completely booked. The cast member also told us that the planned fanfare for the opening was going to be amazing, a once-in-a-lifetime event. Our quiet vacation will likely be far more magical with a lot more friends than we expected. Could you please advise us on how to handle Hollywood Studios on opening day? How do we get in? Can we leverage our dining reservations in the morning? I'm planning to arrive 2 hours before the park opens to get priority entry. What should we take advantage of while we're there? Help. Thanks for your uplifting entertainment and insight. And that is from Craig out in Seattle. So Pam, you've been to, media events, but also kind of general public openings of attractions, lands, stuff like that at Walt Disney World. Of course, this will be unprecedented. This is going to be the biggest we've ever seen in Florida. I mean, I think this is going to, be bigger than 71 when the Magic Kingdom opened, to be honest, just because of how the world is now. What would you offer anybody in this kind of situation? Because he's right. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks that are accidentally in the right time to be there. So what do you say, Pam?
So first of all, I'm going to let everyone in on a big secret. Ready?
Yep.
If you're listening or reading or hearing anything that says people know what's going to happen these days, they're wrong.
Right.
Because it's not out there yet. And we really don't have a good sense of it. Are they going to have previews? Are they going to have something that you can pay so you can get in earlier to see? We don't know. And even as far as the fanfare, it was nice for the cast member to get you excited about that. But I don't think typically when a land opens, that's not something that's open to the general public. And I've been there for the Fantasyland one, the Toy Story one, all of those were things that were sort of a closed event. So I'm just, not that it's not going to be spectacular. So let's put all of that aside. So what you're going to want to do is to keep watching and get a sense of that, see how things will be. I understand you're wanting to make a dining reservation to try to help you get in, and that may help you get into the park, but not necessarily help you get into any line for Galaxy's Edge at this point. And it was sort of like Toy Story too. There was a line to get into actually Toy Story. I don't know how much of the park was actually impacted by that, how much of the rest of the park. And that's something that, we've had a lot of guests who were really kind of worried about this. Like they already had their vacation plan and then they're like, what's it going to be like now that Galaxy's Edge is opening up? And I'll say to you, there will certainly be a number of people that travel there for the opening specifically. But I think that will it impact most people's vacations in a negative way? I don't think so. If you wanted to completely avoid Galaxy's Edge, you absolutely could. Avoid the land, or whatever. I don't know that it's going to increase the attendance at the other parks that much during that time. We haven't seen that with anything else. Now, of course, Star Wars is its own little thing, There are so many people that love Star Wars, and there are so many people that love Disney, and these two communities are coming together. So we're going to see some unprecedented things. But can I think that you can absolutely go there during this time and have a great time? I absolutely do. Would I change my vacation? I would not. If my vacation was planned for that weekend, would I be changing it? No, I wouldn't. If I wanted to avoid Star Wars, I would. If I wanted to be part of the crazy, fun, whatever that's going to take place during that time, I'd get into it and I'd just be patient. So
that's exactly my advice. Cause guests are asking me over at the Magic for Less, just what I think. And of course, like you said, Pam, nobody knows. This is unprecedented.
Right.
And here's another thing to remember, that if you're getting information from cast members, whether they're dining or reservations, cast members on the ground down at Walt Disney World, now, we love them. Don't worry. Because some of my best friends are cast members, and, I talk to these people and they're working hard each and every day. They help me do my job and they help you have a great vacation. I think that sometimes they and we could get a little ambitious because we see patterns, and because we've seen patterns over the past maybe decade with, like you said, New Fantasyland, Toy Story Land, that we project that this will happen with Star Wars Land, when Disney could totally pivot just because it's going to be such a different and larger scale opening. So I think that even when you get information from a Disney cast member, not that it's incorrect, but just hedge your bets that might not be the final word when August gets here. Is that good advice, Pam? Because that's what I always do, because I know everybody's heart's in the right place. And I'm giving the best information I can give, but I'm just giving the best information that I know. And I'm not always 100% correct, because Disney can change on me.
We all get over enthusiastic, right? We hear something from someone who we think is reliable, or there's a rumor going around and we want to share that with people in order to give them the best information. And then later we find out that was absolutely not true. So I think we're all just sort of in a holding pattern right now. You can sort of hedge your bets and do things that you think might be, help you in that space. But I think that there's just going to be so much to see and do and take in, and it's going to be incredible. And for those who want to avoid it, I think you'll be able to. And for those who want to be immersed into it, well, we know that there'll be lots of opportunity for you too. So
the way I say it is, if you're not into Star Wars and you don't want to have to fight, say you're there on August 29th when it opens, those people are going to get pulled from somewhere. I would imagine it's going to be a light day at the Animal Kingdom, or
right. Yeah, exactly.
Magic Kingdom.
Right.
You got to say, if X is overwhelmed, then Y is probably not going to be overwhelmed, and so
that's right.
Your advantage. Ricky, final thoughts on this, and we'll get to the next question, because we're going to be talking about this for the next few months.
My gosh, yes. We'll be literally talking about this for the next few months. There's really, like you said, there's no way to know how it's going to be. We know how it's been for the past couple of openings for lands. I've been there both for Toy Story Land's opening day as well as Pandora's opening day. Yes, there have been lines to get into the actual land. There haven't been lines to get into the park, at least not, that where you had to wait outside to get into the park. So you're going to be able to get into the park just fine. More than likely that day, you just, if you want to go to the land, you may have a long wait to wait in line. But that's fine. But they may change it up too. They are, at Disneyland, they are actually having reserved times for you to be able to go into the land. Depending on how well that does. Now, I know right now they said they're not doing that at Walt Disney World, but again, things can change. Disney may decide, okay, that went really well at Disneyland. We may decide to roll this out at Walt Disney World. It just depends on kind of what they, I think that they're definitely feeling out what they do at Disneyland and seeing and tweaking how that goes, and then moving forward with Walt Disney World's opening for Galaxy's Edge. And a lot of people are freaking out, and I've seen comments here, and it's going to be okay. I promise. It's going to be just fine, and you'll still have a magical vacation. And I know some people, I literally have seen people complaining because, oh no, Galaxy's Edge is opening and I wanted a quiet vacation.
Yeah.
And you could still have that. Maybe don't go to Hollywood Studios this trip. Look, I just was down there for my vacation, and I chose not to go to Hollywood Studios, not because of anything like that, but just how it worked out, and all the other parks were just fine. So you'll still have a great vacation, I promise. So don't freak out. It will all be fine. And yes, we will, I'm sure, discuss all these things even more as we move forward. So, yeah.
I would say that if you want to go see Beauty and the Beast live on stage,
yeah, you can definitely.
Hey, man, I mean, go.
I think you're going to get into that. Oh, and I did see someone ask a question, and this is something that I wanted to kind of answer. Somebody wanted to know if crowds would be light because it's only going to be Millennium Falcon that's open and not the Rise of the Resistance attraction. And no, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think that, because the land is opening itself, and, people are going to want to see the land, whether it's one attraction open or two attractions open. So no, I don't think that it will be a light crowd or a lighter crowd, I guess, just because one attraction is opening. I think the size of the crowd will be the same whether it was one attraction or both.
And Dennis is here in the chat. I love Dennis. He does an amazing Star Wars podcast. So if you are a fan of Disney and Star Wars, but you want to get really geeky on the Star Wars stuff, Dennis is your man. He says, I wish I could just sneak in to Galaxy's Edge and try Blue Milk. Me and you, I'll ride shotgun with you. We'll somebody post bail, and we'll see. Grown men are going to weep at the sight of the Millennium Falcon. From what
I've heard.
We weep.
Even the previews that people have done, I read that some grown men did weep, and that was, without the land being finished completely, and still people wearing hard hats and construction going on. So.
And I mean, because I had the Millennium Falcon toy when I was a kid, and I played with that thing forever. I mean, it was banged up just like the Falcon. So it's Dennis, we're gonna have to work something out. All right, next let's do something besides Star Wars for a second. This next one says Epcot lunch ideas. Thank you, Sherry, for another question.
That doesn't involve Star Wars.
We did do this for 6 months. All right, hello BOGB, Sherry from Dallas here, a long way from Pam. I'm headed to Walt Disney World the first weekend of April with my 7-year-old. We're trying to pack all 4 parks into 2.5 days. I did this in December with my oldest son, but we had an Animal Kingdom VIP tour, Hollywood Studios after hours, and the very Merry Christmas party to help us get what's done in a shorter amount of time. I like that. When time's short, do these special things. You can get it done. With my little guy, we only have the Hollywood Studios after hours booked. It'll be interesting to see how much we can pack in without those other 2 experiences to help us out. My question is, what is a table service restaurant in World Showcase that we can get into and out of quickly? I have the answer. I would rather do quick service for the sake of time, but with it being Flower and Garden and a Saturday that will be there, I think we need a reservation somewhere so we're guaranteed a chair and some air conditioning. There you go. That's the Pam coming out right there.
There it is.
I swear that was Pam talking to me right there in that sentence. But don't have time for a long and leisurely lunch. Thanks so much for all your tips and tricks. I love listening to y'all between trips, but I get so excited listening as my trips are getting closer and closer together, and I've been researching cruises too. Cheers, Sherry. All right, Sherry, if you're going summer 2020, now's the time to book. Man, I'm telling you, some sailings, and we're doing that. All right, so we're all going to give one restaurant a quick in and out, good meal, air conditioning. I say Beer Garden because that's a buffet. Boom, you're in, you're out. Good food. I don't know if the 7-year-old like it, but it's good food. Pam, what about you?
I was going to say Garden Grill for the same reason. It is pre-plated, so no, you don't have to worry about it. And boom, you're in, you're out. Plus, you get to see characters.
True that. True. Ricky, what about you?
So I'm going to say, I'm just going to throw this out there. I know she's worried about the fact that it is Flower and Garden, and she's worried that she wouldn't be able to get into a table or a counter service restaurant with it being Flower and Garden. You know what? Sometimes that's the best time to go to a counter service restaurant because it's Flower and Garden. And that's because everybody's eating at the flower and garden booths. So, and most people are standing at tables. And they have other areas for people to eat. So if you really wanted to get in and out quickly, I would pick a counter service restaurant and just go that route, because I think that that you're going to be just fine. So that's kind of my suggestion, because we were just there, and the counter service restaurants were, we were there opening weekend of Flower and Garden, and all of them were relatively fine.
Yeah. You make a good point, because a lot of people do kind of a sample and snack, as Jeff's saying in the chat. So, All righty. And Katie says she's checking out of a resort tomorrow morning. Is it too early to start planning the next trip? Nope.
Nope.
Never. All right. Next question's from Mackenzie. It says first time cruise. Hello, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. I'm cruising with Disney for the first time on March 25th on the Disney Dream, coming up quickly. We're on a 4-night, or Walt Disney World for 4 nights before the cruise. I have a few questions for the expert cruisers. I know each of you are. My first questions deal with paying for onboard purchases. I'm traveling with my mom, and we're both staying in one room. Is there a way to divide our charging privileges so that at the end of the trip, we have our own charges to pay for instead of one big bill? Second, I have a few methods of payment, including a Visa gift card, Disney gift card, cash, and then some credit card if needed. Do I put those forms of payment down at the beginning of the trip or the last night of the cruise? All right, so Pam, talk to her about that. So let's tackle the first part, the simple part. She's got 2 people. They want to kind of divide their charges. But what you do during online check-in, though, so people know, is that you put a card per stateroom on your account. That's how it initially starts. So, Pam, what about all these different variables she's got with her mom and her and then all the different kinds? It sounds like she's going to be down to guest services on deck 3 midship the night before cruising.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, Disney Cruise Line is really good about separating charge according to who made it. In fact, when you pull up your charges, you can pull them up on the television or go down to guest services and get a printout of them. Each charge is identified by who actually charged that, the card of the person that was used to charge that. So that part's going to be simple. During your online check-in, you're absolutely going to want to put a credit card down, because that's the easiest, it's the quickest, it makes things simple. When you get on the ship, if you have a Disney gift card and a large one at that, or a Disney rewards card and a large one at that, you could stop by guest services and ask to put that on your shipboard account. The other thing that you can do is at different points during the cruise, you can go down and pay whatever you want on those specific charges. And I know a lot of people like to do that too. So Disney Cruise Line's pretty flexible with things like that. And you'll be able to make all of those charges. You can pay for them with all those various types of, credit charges, debit cards, whatever you want to do. So
I will mention, though, just because it happened to me, if it is one of those Visa gift cards, make sure before you go on the cruise that you register it, because I have had some and I needed to register the card ahead of time and I didn't, and so I could not use those on the cruise. That was kind of a bummer, because I had a decent amount gift card to use on the cruise. So just make sure you do that ahead of time if you'd like to use one of those Visa gift cards that they sell in the stores.
And a quick plug, book with the Magic for less. You'll have money sitting in your account when you arrive. Boom. It's
magic. It is magical. I love it.
Hey, man, you're booking the same price with that cruise through, straight through Disney Cruise Line, but you're getting free money in your account.
Yes, you are.
You don't even have to drop off a card. Second, with coming from Walt Disney World Transportation, what is the time that people usually get to the cruise to board, as we don't pick an arrival time? So I'd say you're on between 12 and 2, breezing on, usually between 1 and 2 probably, but no problem. They get you right in. Third, on the day we get back to Port Canaveral, we have Disney transportation back to the airport, but our flight does not leave until 6:30. You guys have any restaurants that you enjoy near or at the airport? So I like Chick-fil-A. I always get.
Of course you do.
They do have pretty nice restaurants. I mean, they have a food court that has some pretty neat stuff. I mean, it's typical like mall food. They have that. They have a macaroni grill to go. They have. Look at this. Now that I fly, I know all the restaurants.
I know. Look at you.
They have. What's that place? The Todd's.
So it depends on what gate you. you fly out of its cask and larder. And cask and larder is actually really good. I've eaten there before as well. So, and you can do one of the things where you sit at the bar, but you're going to have plenty of time, so you can grab a table there. It's really good, but it's in a specific terminal. So
it's in the Southwest terminal, because I always see it.
Yeah, it's in the Southwest terminal. So, I mean, you'll be there long enough. If you want to explore the different terminals, you have plenty of time. So,
she says, last question. We are taking the yacht group port excursion at Nassau. Do we tip them at the end of the event as well, or is that included in the fee we pay through Disney? Pam, I'd say you probably tip on your own on that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, you typically do. Typically, tips are not included in the excursions that you're going to do with Disney Cruise Line. It will say in the description if it does happen to be included, but most of the time they are not. So.
All right. And she says, P.S. Pam, we're trying out the Baseline Tap House based on your recommendation this trip and can't wait to try it for the first time. Do you get to keep the little cards that come with the beer flights? Thank you so much. You got to make your trip more magical. Mackenzie's in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Well, I mean, I guess you could keep them either way, but is it legal?
Mackenzie, yes, absolutely. You get to keep the little cards that come with it. You know, they encourage that. You might find your new favorite beer there and you'll want to know what it is. So anyways, yeah, you absolutely can. And I was there, of course.
Yes, you were.
I think I might have gone into Hollywood Studios just to go to Baseline Tap
You
House,
probably did. Yeah.
So anyways, I just like hanging out there. And just keep in mind, there's not a ton of food there. The pretzel with cheese, there's a charcuterie plate, definitely worth getting. There's mixed nuts, and then there's like a little a steak thing and a puff pastry. So
I did not enjoy that as much. The charcuterie board and the pretzel are where it's at, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. So anyways, yeah, fun. I'm excited.
All right.
No, I'm jealous. I want to be back.
I know, right?
That's right. All right. Last question today. I can't find it. We had so many comments tonight in the Facebook live chat, which thank you guys for being a part of the show. I love this. And I'm sorry if we didn't get to your question in the live chat. But somebody earlier was asking about great restaurants, dining suggestions for the younger set, like 9 and under, like character meals. We got suggestions like Tusker House, Garden Grill, Chef Mickey's. I want to just throw in just to help out with that one. I like the breakfast at Ohana with Stitch and Lilo and Mickey and Pluto. It's a family style. It's a great way to get over to the Polynesian. It's a great way to start your day because you can hop right there on the monorail, go to the Magic Kingdom. Good stuff there. So Ricky suggests another good meal for the younger set.
Did they say Garden Grill?
I think so. I mean,
okay.
that was kind of all talking back.
So Garden Grill, definitely. I think that because it's a smaller restaurant, I feel like you get more character rotation. So you see the characters more. I usually get to see them at least 2 times, sometimes 3. So that part's really good, and the food is so yummy. So there's that. And then I actually, and I'm sure we'll talk about this on Friday, but I went to Crystal Palace for the first time ever. And I had breakfast there, and I thought that was really good. And the characters are really good there too. Had a lot of good character interaction. So those are my suggestions.
All right, Pam, what about you? Close us out. Suggestions for dining for the younger set.
So you have to put Chef Mickey's in there because that's where you get to meet the mouse. Yeah. And it's just, a staple of so many kids' vacations. I also think if you have a child who wants to see some characters in particular, I think there's some specialty meals you're going to want to look at, like the princess meals, if you're going to want to do that, the villain dinner at 1900 Park Fair, which is awesome. Make sure that you're thinking about those just to see those particular characters. And that's something that you'll want to keep in mind too.
All righty. That's going to do it for today's listener question show. Thank you so much, everybody who joined us live here on Facebook and gave your feedback. We appreciate that so much for the live questions as well. Thanks for everybody who emailed those to mike@beourguestpodcast.com. Keep those coming because we try to get a nice balance in the live questions and the inbox questions. And it's just fun to have a wide variety of topics to talk about every Wednesday. So thank you so much for that. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News Disney Edition. It's a free iOS app everybody should have on their Apple devices. Ricky, besides May 31st and August 29th, is there anything else happening?
Well, for those who missed it, there was a ticket price increase today. Yeah. So there's that. But There's also there's going to be a new Captain Hook's Pirate Crew, which is at Disney's Beach Club Resort.
Budget.
What what is going
I'm
on?
getting some feedback from somebody playing a video, I think, somewhere.
Was it? It wasn't me. I don't know where that came from. Okay, I'll start over.
Pop under.
That was
Sorry.
weird.
It was
That's okay.
pop under. Oh, those stupid pop unders. Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So I'll start. From here. So there's actually a brand new experience for the little ones in Captain Hook's Pirate Crew. This is taking place at Disney's Beach Club. And it's going to be offered from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And it will have Captain Hook looking for a band of new adventurers. And you are going to be the said adventurers. You'll get to comb through the resort, set sail on a pontoon boat across Crescent Lake, and escape in an escape room type experience. And then once the treasure is unearthed, there will be a pirate feast that includes cannon meatballs with marinara sauce and macaroni and gold sauce. Macaroni and cheese.
I know it's only for kids, but man, that sounds like my jam.
Yeah, exactly. There's all so the Captain Hook Pirate Crew is priced at $55 plus tax per child, and it's available for ages 4 to 12. So, Mike, I'm sorry you're too old for this. It begins on April 28th, and to book it, you can call 407-824-KIDS. And with this announcement, though, it has been announced that the Pixar Play Zone at the Disney's Contemporary Resort is closing. So that did not last long. So that's kind of a surprise to me, actually. I thought for sure that would be a little more popular, but I guess not.
Yeah, didn't have much buzz anymore. Seriously.
No.
Get it?
No. Yeah, get it? Get it? Yeah. Dumb. Okay.
I'm here all day. Anyway, actually, I'm not. We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
So don't forget to give us that's Theme Park News Disney Edition. Get it over at virtualmickey.com. Sad dad jokes out not there. Anyway, follow us on social media if you dare at BRGuestPod and at BRGuestMike on Facebook on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook is
We lost it.
BRGuest Podcast. I know we got to fit in this thing. So let's get back together on Friday, talk a little Flower and Garden Festival 2019. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon.
Sorry, it was absolutely a pop under. I wanted to try to close it, but I didn't want to.
Oh, no.
I didn't want it to start up again. You know what I mean? Something I'm like, where is that?
Yes.
What
Where
window
is the
that?
music or things coming from? Yeah. Yeah, I hate those stupid things.
I knew it wasn't me because I was like, I only have 2 windows open. I was like,
And I knew it wasn't me. I didn't think because I was like, wait, the only thing I just opened is the mouse for less, so we don't have any of those.
I know, right?
All Pam. It's all Pam's fault.
It was me. Sorry.
All right,
You're
let's talk
fine.
about Flower and Garden. Here we go.
Wait, sorry. I'm trying to find
Pam's
the thing. I'm trying to find it. That's what I'm saying.
Every time I go to talk, she I hear in my ear.
No.
What are
Okay.
you finding?
Oh, good. I need to find the window it was part of.
Oh, got it.
Like, there's a lot of pop-ups open on my thing. Not
Yikes.
pop-ups, but there's a lot of windows.
It's so funny because she's in right. It seems like my left ear. She's right there.
Okay, all good.
All right, here we go. 14:59. I forgot to announce about the stupid live show I'm going to do Sunday night. I'll do it on this one, top of the show. It wasn't Chef Todd either. Okay, but it was him at the Cask and Ladder, whatever.
Larder.
Cask and Larder, yeah.
All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 1459 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Boy, we needed this one and glad to be here. We're having a good time kicking off a little St. Patrick's Day weekend. I know you're going to have a little fun this weekend. And we're going to have fun talking Disney, talking about spring. Spring's almost here. We're getting so close. But when Flower and Garden hits every year, that's kind of it's like spring training. It's like the unofficial start to spring for Disney fans. So Ricky and Pam were down there this past weekend. We're going to talk about all the stuff they saw, they tasted, they drank, they experienced, all the good stuff today. But real quick, I want to remind everybody that, I kind of said at the beginning of the year that we're going to go back. We're going to go a little old school, and we're going to go back to those monthly listener question or just live call-in shows. So we are going to do one of those again this Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, right here on the Facebook page. So if you have a question or if you have a mini trip report or you just want to talk Disney, all the big news that's happened over the past couple of weeks, we're going to open the phone lines and have a fun Disney conversation right here on Facebook. So just drop by the Facebook page for the Be Our Guest podcast Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, and we'll talk some Disney. We'll open the phone lines. So please spread the word and join us for that. We're going to have a good time. So joining me today, the stars of the show, we're talking Flower and Garden. We have Ricky from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and The Mouse for Less. Happy Friday, Ricky. What's going on?
Happy Friday. I'm still a little sunburnt, actually. I know that's not something that people want to hear, especially where it's probably still snowing. But yeah, so warning to all, it's warm down in Florida, so bring your sunscreen.
But my nose has still got a little peel to it from Princess. I mean, it's
my gosh, I got so sunburnt. I think, you know how you said Scott got a little sun poisoning. I think I got sun poisoning actually on Saturday. So just bring sunscreen, please. Don't forget it like I did. And then regretted it.
Well, you know, that's no joke this time of year. Especially
no, it's not, because you forget.
Exactly. You just forget, like, and I mean, that sun is intense down there this time of year.
Yes.
It zaps you quick.
Yeah, it does. Like you do totally forget because you go outside where you are and it's gross and it's gray and it's cold and you're like not thinking about putting on sunscreen usually, although you should. But most people don't. So I completely forgot to pack it, and yeah, I very much regretted that choice.
We sell it, but we just get too busy and forget to put it on. So
yes.
Anyway, also joining us with the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, what is going on? How's this weekend setting up for you? And probably not as exciting as last weekend.
No, not really. I mean, a last minute trip's usually a little bit more exciting than this, but looking forward to it. It's good to be gone. It's good to come back home. So you got to love both of those. And happy St. Patrick's Day, celebrating this weekend. That's fun. And I haven't had the chance to see Captain Marvel yet, which I'm really looking forward to. So I think we'll probably see that this weekend too. So
good
I hear
choice.
good things. So
very good.
Love that.
So I got to say this, you mentioned Captain Marvel, which I probably won't go see, just not because I don't want to see the movie. I just don't go see hardly any movies at the movie theater, and I've never seen a Marvel movie, so why start now? But the thing is, here's the one thing that might get me in the theater, and I've already seen it, so I probably won't. But one of my former students is in a commercial that is playing immediately in front of Captain Marvel. So how cool is that? Because she's in the Air Force, and she's just, I know teachers aren't allowed to have favorite students. I've had a few. Alicia is one of my favorite all-time students. I was a commission for the Air Force. She goes to my church. Her family is amazing. And so at church a couple of weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, she came up to me. She goes, because I always talk about, because I always said that, I'm never going to fly in a space shuttle, or I'm never going to go into space. But I said, there's one thing cooler than me ever getting to go into space. And I always told my kids, it's one of you guys getting in a jet and going into space, or doing whatever you want to do. If you want to be a professional basketball player, you want to be a chef, you want to, write the next great book, direct the next greatest movie. I said, the best thing for a teacher is not me getting to experience it, but being there when your restaurant opens, or being there when you go on your first flight on an F-15, or, to space. I'm going to be there for the long. I always told them this, and that is no lie. Like, it's way better that my kids do it than I do it. Well, she's in the Air Force. I cannot be more proud of her. And she came up to me at church and goes, you know the Captain Marvel movie that's coming up pretty soon? I was like, I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it. Don't ask me about the characters. I have no clue about Marvel. She's like, it doesn't matter. I was like, okay, what about it? She goes, I'm going to be in a commercial. I'm flying out to California tomorrow, and we're doing a commercial for women. Women aviators is like the theme of the Air Force. I've seen it, and it's online. If you just Google Captain Marvel Air Force commercial. And she's in there, and I mean,
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Really cool to have the connection.
Oh my gosh,
so
I still
cool.
see her as like because I had her 2 years, because I looped with that class, 5th and 6th grade. I taught them for 2 years, and she told me in 5th grade, I'm going to be an astronaut, Mr. Rallman, and no doubt, she's in the Air Force, man, flying jets. She will be an astronaut. It wouldn't surprise me. So,
the question.
Yes.
Now, does she still call you Mr. Rallman?
She is very polite. Yes, she does. And it's strange because I couldn't be more proud of her, and it's just it's pretty amazing. So anyway,
awesome. Let's
get through the Disney talk. I know that I just had to have my proud.
That's Disney. That's Captain Marvel. You're all good.
Wave to Alicia when you see the commercial of all the women in the jet.
Waving now.
They're in her flight. Pretty sweet. But you gotta be quick. She's not like the like star because that's the first woman that flew jets in the Air Force, but she's there standing next to her. Anyway, let's get to the conversation at hand. That's Flower and Garden 2019. Spring is kicked off. You guys went down last minute. So, Ricky, initial thoughts of the first weekend of the festival. What's sticking with you here a few days later?
Definitely some of the lines, although I did hear the one thing is now sold out. So surprise, surprise. The festival itself is beautiful. They've done a great job. I very much enjoy this really is one of this really is, I think, my favorite festival that Epcot does. The beauty of what you see is it's simply gorgeous. I love the plants. I love the topiaries. I just love everything about what they do with this festival in general. So it is seriously the most beautiful time to go to Epcot. 100%.
Pam, what about you? You're settled in for a few days. What's sticking with you?
I agree too. Epcot looks so great. And the other thing I have to say about traveling to Walt Disney World in the spring is the weather is fantastic. Really and truly. Florida weather is always, pretty nice. I know sometimes it gets a little hot in the summer and it can get chilly at different times, but usually when you're there during Flower and Garden, the weather is great. And you get to really take advantage of that. So I love that too.
I think that's the thing we've always said for like the past, 7-8 years is that especially for folks that are not from Florida or from, Southern Texas or Arizona, places where it stays warm most of the year, it's that first sight. Like even when you just get off the plane at MCO and you see a palm tree blowing in the breeze, like, God, my soul needed that, and then you get to Epcot, there's plantings everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh, there's actually a color besides like black melted snow on the side of the road. And
yes.
Right.
It's so good for the soul, even if you don't like ride a ride or even if you don't eat any of the good food, drink any of the good drinks, it's just good for the soul to have a little sun on your skin and see the flowers. I mean, that's 80% of the battle right there. So what I want to do today, because we have, limited time, I got about 30 minutes here still. I want to make sure we talk about the things you guys experienced and things that you can give our listeners not to miss in the next 2.5, 3 months while the festival's going on. So Ricky, nail some of those things that you want to tell people about not to miss when they go down.
Okay, so the first thing that you absolutely can't miss, I think, is the thing that the second thing that everybody's losing their mind over on the internet, and that is not the Orange Bird, which, again, I think has officially sold out as of this week, which that took a long time. But I think that it is so in the China pavilion, they are doing these humongous cotton candy designs.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They are so they take up so much time to make because, I watched it and I have a video that I filmed of the entire process that I'll be posting on the Mouse for Less. But the way that, it took about 3 minutes or so per order. And you watch as they start spinning the sugar and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they make it fancy. So they do some artistic stuff to it. And then they spin more sugar on top of it and do some more work to it. And then more. And it's a beautiful work of art that they're doing with these giant cotton candy creations. I would like to let people know, though, there is a separate line for these creations. So, because I know we were looking for it and we're like, where is the cotton candy? So there's the normal line and then for all the food. And then there is a separate line off to the side that just sells the cotton candy. Now, keep in mind, because it's a time-intensive thing, they can shut off that line if it gets to be too long. So just kind of keep that in mind, too, because if you want it and you're walking past and they've shut off the line, you might want to swing back around again at a later time to see if they are offering it again. But they have a number of designs that you can choose from. And I mean, this sucker is massive. I mean, if you're not sharing this with at least, 5 people, you will have such a sugar high. So Please share this. Please don't eat it all yourself.
You give it to one kid that's like 7 years old and just be like, have at it.
Oh my gosh, it's humongous. So I think that that's like the best gem of the entire Flower and Garden Festival as far as like, you know, surprise. Because I didn't know about it until Pam mentioned it to me. And then I was like,
Cool.
she's like, have you seen this? And I said, no. And so then we went looking for it. And yeah, it's absolutely worth it. So,
Well, when I saw your coverage, and you guys did a great job on social media, I really appreciated all this stuff, the videos, I didn't know they sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in Casey.
I didn't know either.
That was on the social media
I
too.
was walking past and on the way to my Crystal Palace reservation, and they were like started singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and I'm like, I have to record this.
Wasn't that this time of year? But I saw that, you know, the cotton candy, and you're right. I mean, it's gigantic. You got to see the picture to understand like how big it is.
Yes.
Like, in comparison to like the cast member that's
Oh,
creating.
I mean, it's like 3 times the size of his
Oh
head.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Like a
It's
pizza. But
humongous.
first thing I thought was though, like it's almost the wrong festival. Like that would be perfect for the Festival of the Arts. It seemed like to me.
That's true. I agree with you. I
More
am
than
surprised that they didn't bring it out.
I wonder
for
if they'll
that.
come out with it for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 quick questions on that. Then I want to get to Pam with her next thing. So how much is it? And I mean, if they can only make like one every 3 minutes, I mean, it seems like that this is something that's it's going to be very scarce. You know, anything with a Disney fan is that scarcity just gets crazy.
Yeah. Pam, I was too busy marveling over the size of the thing and also watching him make it. So did you see how much the price was on it?
I
didn't
think
catch
it was $15.
I think
And
that's
they
right.
do cut the line off. They do stop it at a certain point. They don't let it get too big. And I'm
Yes.
sure they probably reopen it after a while, but they only let the line get so big because, you know, there's only so many of these that can be made. So,
Right.
yeah.
So if it's something you want, make sure you get there early to grab it.
For something unique like that, though, that's shareable, $15 is a bargain.
It's not that bad, I was thinking. So
No,
yeah.
no, it really is huge. I mean,
I think if the line hadn't been cut off, we would have probably gotten in line and got one of them.
Probably.
So,
if
All right.
nothing else than to get the picture. So.
exactly. Yeah.
You got to Instagram the thing. I mean,
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
Pam, give us something else not to miss when we go down.
So I just want to say that, you know, there's a lot of new food at the food booths this year. They really added in a bunch of different things. It was so nice to see. They have a great mix of savory and drinks and sweet things, and I was really glad to see that. And everything we had, we really, really enjoyed. I mean, there wasn't one thing
Well,
we didn't
that
enjoy.
chocolate terrarium was not very good. So
Yeah, I did not try it. I did not
let's
try
throw that out
one.
there. Don't get the chocolate terrarium. It's not good at all.
It was
So
it was an odd thing. But we tried like everything from, first of all, they have the cronut, that's the flour one this time, and it was cool. Plus I got to order something from Taste Track, which is
Yes.
never open.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted a button for that. Like,
Yes.
everyone gets a celebration button. I wanted my button to be like, I successfully ordered something from Taste Track. So anyways, we tried that and I really liked it because it was the cronut, but it didn't have all that like cinnamon sugar on it. It just had a little bit of icing on it. So it wasn't like such a, you know, an explosion. But we tried stuff like the fried cauliflower from Morocco.
Mhm.
That was good. They do thankfully still have some of our favorites there at the Smokehouse in America.
Oh, so good. I love the
Burn
smokehouse.
and the brisket. That was yummy. Really, it was really, really good. And it always is. They have some fantastic merchandise. People are losing their mind over the violet ears, which I think are fine. I mean, you know, I think ears are really subjective. Like different ears really appeal to different people. And it's interesting for me to see which ears sort of explode, you know, get like all the play. So I love seeing that. I'm looking back at some of my pictures here to see, you know
what food was honestly was one of my favorites. It was the corn on the cob.
Oh, right.
That one booth. What was the booth? It was the oh my gosh, it was the new booth that's there this year. It was
it
Trowel
Elf School?
Trellis. Is the trowel and trellis is what it was. And it was grilled street corn served with a savory garlic spread. Now, I know it's just corn on the cob and butter with garlic in it, but oh my gosh, it was so good. I almost went back for a second one. That's how good this sucker was. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
That's straight out of Silver Dollar City in the Missouri Ozark.
I mean, it was like $5.50 for an ear of corn that normally costs like 33 cents and some butter. But I was at that point, I was down. I was like, let's get some more corn on the cob.
Yeah, that, and I'm just looking through the other, the one of the things that I think is sort of the bargain is that lobster tail.
Yes.
They have a lobster tail. You get sort of, I mean, I'm not talking a huge lobster tail.
No.
You get a lobster tail and it comes with a citrus butter.
Which is really good too.
So good. They cook it for you. $8, my friends.
Yes.
$8.
It was a great deal.
You know, that's not a lobster. It's like a crawdad. You know.
No, this was totally lobster.
It was actually very good. Well, the ones that we had were good. They really were.
It was really good.
I like that. They had a lot of different beer flights that you could get at different places. So glad to see that. In the Odyssey, one of the things I really liked is they had some actual tables that were there where you could go and sit down, and that was nice. Like that was so nice because that is a little challenging. I think you're carrying around plates of food and drinks, and that's hard. They also had a fried green tomato in there that
was excellent.
A fennel and crab salad on top of it that again was really good. So are we all getting hungry now that we're talking about
so here's the thing I'll throw in for families with little ones, because everybody's like, oh well, it's a fancy food festival, so what will my kid want to eat? Let me tell you, they're going to want to eat this Mickey tart peanut butter mousse. So it is in the shape of Mickey Mouse, and it is peanut butter mousse served in the Mickey tart is kind of like, it's not graham cracker, it's not a cookie shell. It's just a shell, but it tastes fine. And then it's served with strawberry jam on top, and then I assume they're strawberry boba balls, but they were red. They matched the strawberry jam. So this was excellent. I thought this was really good, and it's a great little option for those with kids because they're gonna want to eat this fun. It's like peanut butter and jelly, but different. So definitely want to consider that.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
What else
hungry now?
We missed. I know we gotta. I mean, I know there's a lot of great food, but what about like you guys go through it was the butterfly house because early in the festival, so a lot of times it takes those kind of a long time to fill in.
Yeah,
what was that?
It was fine. I didn't think there were a lot of butterflies. They were still, looking to hatch. It is opening weekend, so I saw a few, but there weren't like a ton. So one thing that we did this trip though that's unfortunately not there the rest of the time, I wish it was because I think it's really cool, is we actually painted barrels. So they're rain barrels, and so they gave you like a little thing of paint that you could go and paint on these white barrels that they're going to take and use as rain barrel things. So that was kind of a unique and fun thing that I wish they'd do that all the time during this festival. But unfortunately it's just for opening weekend. So
yeah, that was a cool thing.
That was really fun. I'm going back through my pictures too and trying to see what else there really was with the festival. The Odyssey is kind of serving as it's kind of like the festival center, because Epcot doesn't have a festival center anymore because they're tearing out not tearing down the Wonders of Life, but repurposing the Wonders of Life. So they're using the Odyssey right now as the festival center. So I don't know how long they'll be using the Odyssey as a festival center moving forward, but for now, that's where you can go to get any, special merchandise or things like that. Of course, they do have merchandise all throughout the park too. So if you are wanting to pick up something special, you'll clearly have places to do that. Yeah. They have a couple of play gardens as well for families with little ones. So if they're looking to, run off some steam or something like that, there's some great play gardens. The one over by Test Track is themed after Toy Story 4, which comes out this year. And there's an adorable new topiary of Bo Peep and her sheep. So that one's really cute too. I really like
And
that.
I love seeing the different, so the topiaries, they sort of move them around this year. Lady and the Tramp are down near the water this year.
Beautiful.
Which
Beautiful
I thought
place for
was
them.
such a great place to have it. They're still in Italy, but instead of being in front of that building, they're sort of down by the water, and it makes for some great, great photos. Love seeing that. Like Ricky said, there's the new Bo Peep topiary, which I think is awesome. And they have the other Toy Story characters there. And by the way, Bo Peep has some sheep. So
Yeah, you know what, the one I saw that again, I wasn't there, but I've been following you guys on social media, the Kermit. That one.
Yes.
Love that one. The Kermit riding the bike and Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Loved that one. That one was really cute too.
They're in France for those who are looking for Kermit and Miss Piggy, by the way. So
they are. And I think that was, I think it's just cool to see how they utilize those topiaries each year. They sort of have a way of, they're using many of the same topiaries, but mixing them up a little bit, and love seeing that. There.
Like the front entrance wasn't the same this year as it has been in the past. I mean, in the past they usually have the Fab Five or a variation of that, and this year it's the butterflies, which I really liked. I like that they switched it up this year, and like you said, Pam, I feel like they did switch it up a lot this year. The topiaries weren't in their usual places that I was expecting to see. Okay, this is where I'd find this, and this is where I find that topiary. They definitely seem to move them around this year, which I very much appreciated.
Yeah, they really did.
Let me ask you this. So in the years past, and again, Easter's super late this year. I mean, it's about as late as it can ever be. They did that Easter egg thing. Do they still have that this year? Because I think a lot of people really like that with their kids.
They do. It is. I forget the dates, but it's well, there's two of them. So there's the bee that's Spike, and he is out through the whole festival. So you can search for Spike. You can buy the map and search for Spike in all the different countries. And actually, he's in more than just countries this year, so that's kind of nice. And then for Easter, they do have the Easter egg hunt that you're going to be able to do with these giant Easter eggs that you're going to find throughout World Showcase. I forget the dates. It's usually only a couple weeks before Easter that they offer the Easter one, so it's not offered throughout the whole festival. But again, both of them are fun and great opportunities for families, or I've done the Easter egg hunt with Brian, just the two of us, and trust me when I tell you, some of those things can be very hard to find. I may or may not have had to ask for hints, and I'm not too proud to admit it. So. I was not cheating. I didn't say, hey, will you point out where it is? I just said, can you help me find the general direction to be looking in? So.
I got a George Washington. You need to tell where this egg is here in Norway.
Yeah, exactly.
So earlier in the live chat here on Facebook, Todd mentioned outstanding merchandise at the Odyssey, and you said, Ricky, of course it is throughout the festival. You can find little kiosks and booths and stuff, and of course everybody's losing their mind over the Orange Bird sipper.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I've seen.
I have mine. I did get mine.
And I've seen that thing in my dreams. I've seen it on Instagram so many times. I think I had things coming for me every time I get out of bed in the middle of the night. Like the Orange Bird sippers chasing me around the house. Like every third picture on Instagram is that dude. So besides the Orange Bird sipper, let me ask Pam, did you see anything that kind of stood out to you as an interesting item as far as merchandise this year?
I just think overall the theme was really cool. So they had lots of pictures of like Farmer Mickey, and he was on t-shirts and bags, and it said Turnip the Fun.
Yes, that was cute.
So Turn Up the Fun. I thought that was adorable, right?
Yeah.
They had, it seemed like a couple different distinct lines. First of all, they had kind of purple line that was put a little zest in your fest. And that was sort of the idea of it. It's all these purple things that, like we were talking about earlier, people get attached to.
Not that kind of zest,
these
Mike.
purple things. So not
that kind of zest.
Every morning, thanks to Jocelyn, I put a little zest in my arm.
Nope, that's too much information. Thank you for that.
So they had the whole purple line, and that included also the purple ears. Purple lemonade ears. Then they also had purple line that had Figment in it, because Figment's been a part of the Flower and Garden Festival for a while. And then they had the Turn Up Mickey one, and they had this kind of light green, like almost a mint green kind of line that had some things in it too, which I thought were really cute. The other thing that they did was they have these really cute mugs that sort of feature a vintage like Farmer Mickey, and they look like metal mugs. They aren't metal. They're they're ceramic, but they're really cute. I think this is an opportunity where they get to do some fun stuff. They have some gardening stuff that they don't typically have, things you can put in the garden decor, stuff like that. And they've always really done a good job with that. I think I love the flower and garden merchandise.
There's a Minnie Mouse line too that you can get. I saw that it involved a lot of red and white. That's another line. So like Pam mentioned, it's kind of nice because in the past they've only had like one kind of flower and garden merchandise. And this year, I really feel like they've listened and are trying to find things that will appeal to different people. And, because I may not like the original line of merchandise that they have, but I might want that, put a little zest in your fest line of merchandise or the Minnie Mouse merchandise or whatever. So it is nice that they have some options for people to choose from.
It does. And I just wanted to say to people, the funny thing about this is right now with Star Wars and that announcement and everything, there is still time to plan a trip right now to take advantage of flower and garden. My trip was planned very last minute. We walked in without an advanced dining reservation at all. And I can tell you, and fast passes we did way after the 60-day mark. It was just recently. And we had a full, almost hilarious day in Magic Kingdom.
Gosh, yes, we did.
The amount of attractions that we got to do. And then, it included almost everything. And I had rolling fast passes that kept going. We ate lunch at Jungle Skipper Canteen. About 3 hours before it was supposed to happen, I lucked into getting dessert party tickets for that night.
Yep.
And
I got my Crystal Palace breakfast reservation that morning. So,
right.
As I was, driving in, I'm like, "Ooh, what can I have for breakfast today?"
Right. And we got to meet listeners. They had met me earlier in the day and then met me too. It was so nice. It was Scott and Chris.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Scott
I think that was, I'm pretty sure they were a adorable family and they're going on a cruise. Well, they're probably on the cruise right now. So yeah.
And they had 2 kids with them. And we saw them again at the dessert party that night too. But they had the cutest kids who gave Steve and I some of the light up sticks and stuff like that when we were all in that dessert party area.
Adorable.
And they their daughter was giving them out to everyone. And the best thing about it was she would go up and give them to random strangers. And there was this family that was kind of laying down on the ground. So when she went to give them to them, she laid down with them.
Oh, that's so cute.
Get on her level. She's going to be a teacher someday.
I know, right? I know. It was so cute. But so we were able to get dessert party tickets in the Magic Kingdom for the time we were down there. Then we walked up and saw Once Upon a Time. We were so close to the castle. It's just, I kept saying to Steve, can you believe this is happening? Why aren't more people here, really, is what I kept thinking, because it was just, the weather was so spectacular.
It was gorgeous.
You were just like, this is when you want to be here. So anyway.
Early March is definitely one of my favorite times to go to.
For sure.
I know that, you are going to have a little bit of spring break crowds. And we did notice, that a lot of people were on spring break. But, because of the weather, because of the Flower and Garden Festival, because of a lot of different factors, I feel like that early March time is so key. You do have people who, I know I live here in Atlanta, so it's not exactly the same, but if you are up in the Northeast or, the Midwest where it's been snowy and gray and there's just something so wonderful about getting that pop of, summer or spring, I guess, because, it's, you're getting the summer heat maybe, but there's just something so nice about that. And, like I said, I took that trip in, early January, and the weather was still really spotty in early January. I had the rainy, cold day. And so, you can still get variations in the weather. I just feel like every time I've been in March, and I've had a couple of cool-ish days in March, but, usually when I'm there in March, the weather is so fantastic. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can go around not wearing a jacket in the daytime. Maybe at night you maybe need to throw on a sweater or whatever. But it is honestly one of my favorite times to head down to Walt Disney World.
I agree.
All right. So one last thing for Pam, one last thing for Ricky before we duck out of here. So Pam, real quick, here's a question I think maybe a lot of people have that are going to Flower and Garden this spring. Is this something that is better done at Epcot during the daylight hours, or is there a reason to go back to the Flower and Garden Festival after dark? What do you say because again, we get that question a lot, should I do this during the day or at night? Is there advantages, disadvantages? What do you think in that instance?
So I think if you're going to see the flowers and even the food booths, I would be there right when it opened because you'll avoid some of the crowds at the food booths and you'll get a great view of all the flowers and everything will be open. Like the butterfly exhibit will be open, the playgrounds will be open, all of that. I also think if you have extra time and you're not going to be waiting in line at the food booths, because let me tell you, on the weekends and sometimes in the evenings, those lines get long. To go back and to be able to see things at night is really cool too. They light the topiaries really well. It just gives you a whole new perspective on that.
They do.
So,
they do.
But if I could only go one time, it would be during the day.
Makes sense. All right, for Ricky, I know that Ricky, you said on Wednesday that you got to you mentioned Crystal Palace just a couple of minutes ago. First time there. So give us, it's so funny because as I thought about this, we don't talk about Crystal Palace very often on the show, yet it's in the shadow of Cinderella Castle in the middle of the magic, right on the hub, but it often gets overlooked. So give us your quick review on your first experience there.
Actually, I had two firsts. So not only did I do Crystal Palace on Sunday, but I also did Jungle Skipper Canteen, which I hadn't been to either. So I actually had two firsts. So for people who are like, I've been everything. Look, I've been there a bajillion times and I'm still finding first things that I haven't done. So I knocked out two of them right there. But so having never been to Crystal Palace, I had obviously read reviews. I've seen, what my bloggers have written about on the Mouse for Less and things like that. But I very much enjoyed my experience. It was a little difficult because I was there alone. And so I didn't, it can be very difficult when you don't have anybody to take your picture with the characters. And unfortunately at the character meals, they don't have, the character handler to be with the characters, which I think is kind of unfortunate in instances for me. Like there's no one to take up my picture. I had luckily there was a very nice lady who was sitting behind me, actually two very nice ladies who volunteered to take pictures for me, which I was very appreciative of. But if they hadn't, I would have been up a creek, so I paid all this money and I wouldn't have been able to get the pictures, that you go to these character meals for.
Though with the characters? That's what I do.
I could have, but my arm's not super long like yours, Mike. I can't get their whole head in there. So anyway, so that's just like a little thing that I wish they would do is add I know it would up the they'd have to pay the character handler to be with them, but if you want to get the whole family in there, I just wish there was a way for them to do that for the character meals. But as far as the food goes, I thought the food was excellent. The one thing that I hear everybody talking about, and it was literally the first thing that I grabbed, was the breakfast lasagna. Oh my gosh, I have to figure out how to make this because it is so good. I mean, I know it's not good for you, but it was delicious. So it's like bananas and strawberries and kind of like a dough, like it's not French toast, but kind of like a bready thing in there. And oh, it's so good. I also tried Pooh's puffed French toast, which I know everybody talks about as well. It's like a cinnamon sugar donut French toasty type thing. Kind of like the cronut, actually, just a little bit different material. It's not made out of the cronut dough. It's made out of something else. I really enjoyed the hash browns that they have there. They're like a cheesy hash brown mix. Those were excellent. They have, this is something so benign, but they have these tomatoes that are, covered in some sort of sauce and seasoning. And those were excellent too, which I know not a lot of people are thinking about tomatoes at breakfast, but these were really good. Good sausage, that they had, not like the breakfast sausage, but actual sausage. The eggs were good. They have an omelet station there too. So if you want an omelet, they can make you one. I very much enjoyed my breakfast at Crystal Palace. And, I definitely think I will be back again. I don't know if I'll bring Brian because he's not like super big on character meals, but if I'm there by myself or whatever, it's now in my rotation of ideas to consider because I thought the breakfast was excellent. So I will I will be back again for sure. And, I could have done the, glorious thing where you have breakfast and then have lunch, but I decided I just go.
Yeah, it's not like you've done that before.
So yeah, they were as I was leaving, they were letting in the lunch crowd. So I could have totally done breakfast and lunch. But
so, real quick though, what'd you think of Skipper Canteen? Because people either tend to like that place or not like it. I mean, there's not a lot of in between there.
So Pam and I had this discussion. We very much think that their appetizer game is very poor. I wish they would have a little bit more in the way of appetizers. There's not a lot of choice, and not a lot of it looks super great. So we were originally going to go there for appetizers, and then we looked at the appetizer menu and like, so
no.
Yeah, so I ended up having like a full lunch, and I had the char siu pork, which it was pork with like an Asian, I want to say it's like an Asian barbecue sauce. I hope I'm not offending anyone. That's kind of what it tasted like to me. And then it came with like a sticky rice and the bok choy that I did not eat. But I thought it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. I feel like the pricing here is not super high. Again, I think it's because they do have trouble filling the restaurant. A lot of people don't like to eat here as much. It's not one of those people where people are like, you know what, let's go to Skipper Canteen, So I think that the pricing reflects that a little bit. I thought it was excellent. I would definitely go back for this pork. I actually had it because I drove home after we ate there and I had leftovers. So I actually had it today for lunch. So that was my lunch.
Take it out of her purse, people.
It was delicious. So yeah, I very much enjoyed Skipper Canteen as well. I do feel like
this needs more choices in general. I don't think they're doing. If this restaurant fails, it's because they're not giving it enough love.
Agreed.
It is a big restaurant. They need more appetizers. They need more choices in terms of the entrees.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, this restaurant should be killing it.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, it's huge. Like Pam said, the theming is so incredibly fantastic. But the choices that they have, they're just so minimal. And I really think that that's what's hurting the restaurant. There's just not a lot of options for people to choose from. I mean, I think there were maybe
there wasn't a sandwich. It was lunch and there was no sandwich.
Yeah, it was lunch. Yeah, and it's just like,
and just a salad or two. Like
I could go with something a little more. I don't know. They had the basics, but they needed a little more to round.
Yeah, they really did.
I feel like, So
I could go for some Skipper Canteen right now. Some tastes like chicken. But
yeah, of course you're going for taste like chicken.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts from last weekend. I'm so jealous while I was sitting here, but I enjoyed the coverage on social media. So thanks for doing that.
Yes. And it was hard. It was hard to, go to work and do that. Wasn't it, Pam? I mean, the work we put in was super difficult. I don't know how we did it.
Yeah. And well, for those people who are heading down to Flower and Garden this year, you're going to have a good time. It looks like it's a great festival. Everything is ready to go. So enjoy that. And hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget, we're brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. And like Pam said, like I said at the top of the show, still plenty of time to get you down there for this year's festival.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of rooms available at all your favorite resorts, great rates. We can still get discounts. So just drop by the magicforless.com today. Check out all the great information over there. See all the offers that are out there. While you're there, fill out that free no obligation quote. An agent will get back to you right away and give you some numbers and some availability, and get that last minute flight, maybe Southwest or JetBlue or Frontier. Get down there quickly and have some fun. You need some sun. You need some vitamin D. You need to see some beautiful flowers. Do that. Don't regret it. Get down there for this year's festival. So check it out today over at themagicforless.com. And again, support the show with our Amazon affiliate link. We appreciate that so very much. It really, really does help. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestpod and at beourguestmike. And drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/beourguestpodcast. One more time, don't forget, this Sunday night, it's going to be our St. Patrick's Day special. We're going to go live, take your calls right here on the Facebook page, at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. So tune in and give us a call and help us spread the word this weekend so we can get a lot of folks in as part of the show. All right, so we're going to get out here and let you get on with your weekend. Whatever you do out there this weekend, especially with Sunday, stay safe.
Mhm.
Want you back here on Monday. Want you part of the live show Sunday night. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike. Wish you an awesome weekend. But again, stay safe and make good choices. And we'll see you real soon. All righty, good stuff. Now I'm starving. I want some skipper.
Boom.
I want everything right now.
It was delicious for lunch today.
I had a turkey sandwich.
Oh, sorry. I had Skipper Canteen.
All right. Well, I'm going to duck out of here and
Awesome.
get edited.
All right.
You can be
All
yourself.
right, we'll see
If you can't, no sweat because we get tons of calls. So just let me know.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
All right. See
All
you.
right, see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.